today to release Too Much Pollution. It's a new analysis of government data on trends in global warming pollution in Massachusetts and nationally. The report finds that Massachusetts pollution has actually decreased 5% since 1990. The transition to clean energy is a marathon, and we're just out of the starting line. We can take back control of our energy future by releasing the power of the sun and the wind. We can cut pollution and transition to new clean energy sources that don't harm the environment, never run out, and we can create new local jobs. Let me step back just for a minute to provide a little context for the report. Then I'll go into the details of our analysis and what our findings mean for policymakers. For decades, America's use of fossil fuels and the global warming pollution that results has been on the rise nationally and in states across the country. For Massachusetts, global warming means a lot of things, but the impact that is perhaps the most worrisome is sea level rise inundating our coast. The science shows that the United States must reduce pollution 35% by the year 2020 to be able to stop the worst impacts of global warming. The good news is that we can cut pollution, jumpstart our economy, and create new local jobs by moving to clean energy like wind and solar power, plug-in hybrid cars, and energy-efficient homes. This brings me to our report. Our report investigates how the states are doing at cutting global warming pollution and moving to clean energy. We use the most recent data from the U.S. Department of Energy on fossil fuel consumption by state to look at trends in carbon dioxide emissions. We look at the trends state and nationally, and as well as economic sector and by fuel source. This first time the state-by-state emissions data have been released for 2006 and 2007. Here are our major findings. Massachusetts carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuel consumption declined 5% from 1990 to 2007. Massachusetts is one of just 4 states in which emissions declined over this period. The largest share of emissions decline in the state came from a shift to cleaner forms of energy and electricity, as the state largely weaned itself from oil for electricity generation. In 1997, oil provided 26% of Massachusetts' electricity. In 2007, that percentage had declined to 6.5%. Nationally, emissions of carbon dioxide from fossil fuel consumption increased 19% between 1990 and 2007. Power plants and vehicles, the largest sources of carbon dioxide emissions in the United States, were responsible for the lion's share of this increase. The initial success of Massachusetts and the 3 other states where emissions declined from 1990 to 2007 shows that moving to clean energy can have a significant impact on the overall emissions, and that we can reduce emissions and increase robust economic growth at the same time. Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, and New York cut their pollution levels by 5% since 1997, while increasing their state gross economic product by 65%. We can drive the economy without driving up pollution. By moving to clean energy, we can cut pollution, help jumpstart the economy, and create millions of new clean energy jobs across the country. The federal government must build on the initial progress made by the states by passing strong clean energy legislation and adopting clean, common-sense EPA rules to cut pollution from aging coal plants and big smokestack industries. Specifically, the Senate must pass the Clean Energy Jobs and American Power Act, sponsored by Senators John Kerry and Barbara Boxer. In addition, EPA has proposed a rule to require coal plants and other large smokestack industries to use available technologies to cut their global warming pollution when new facilities are constructed or existing facilities are significantly modified. Unfortunately, big oil, dirty coal, and other polluters are fighting the transition to clean energy. The American Coalition for Clean Coal Electricity, a coal interest lobby group, spent at least $45 million last year alone. That's more than $120,000 a day on lobbyists and advertising on energy. They've proven themselves willing to do or say virtually anything to block progress, including hiring lobbyists who forged phony constituent letters to Congress opposing action on clean energy. We thank Senator Kerry for his leadership on clean energy. We're counting on him to ensure that the Senate passes an energy bill that requires old clunker coal power plants to meet modern standards for global warming pollution, so we can finally move to clean like wind and solar power. We urge the EPA to finalize its rule to cut global warming pollution of our coal plants and oil plants have gone more toward using natural gas, and that has been a helper in bringing our emissions down the 5%. And we have had a strong increase of stress upon using clean renewable energy sources like wind and solar power. We feel that those are the strongest, they're not going to run out, and they're going to create many local jobs. And this is a huge push, which is wonderful, and we should use this as leadership for the rest of the country. All efforts are absolutely essential. Getting out to the public and increasing awareness of how dire this issue is for America as well as the rest of the world is exceptionally useful and important, and it's great because we have this Senate bill coming up, and it's very important to create support for that. I hope that America, as well as other countries in Copenhagen, will create exceptionally high expectations and then follow through on those limits that we are imposing to really lead the world. For one, America can be a leader in this, but unfortunately right now we're a leader in the pollution. And I believe that we can set a great example and actually follow up on that. Individual people can, of course, use more public transportation, see if it's within their financial power to get their homes linked up to solar power. And exceptionally important right now is creating political will, talking to their senators, talking to their congressmen, and telling people that Americans really want to switch toward clean energy sources. We've had a lot of calamities in the last 10 years across the globe due to global climate change. It's very unfortunate, it's been very sad, but it has been a wake-up call. And I think that a lot of the science is finally coming out to show us this is a very real issue, and this is something that needs to be stopped literally in the next 5 years. It's all happening very quickly, and we finally have the science to prove that. And now that eyes are opening, it's time to act. I would say to see the news, watch the news. There's famine, there's drought, there are many floods. It's all across the world. It's very unfortunate, and unfortunately when you look at data as well, it can only get worse unless we change. And the good thing is also to look at the progress that we have made. Massachusetts has been a leader. This is showing that we can bring emissions down, but our state gross product has gone up. So this isn't something that we have to sacrifice our economy and strictly dump money into. This is something we can benefit from.